Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host Hunter here. Happy Oscar weekend, everyone. Hope you're all having a great week and a great start to your March. I am your humble host Hunter. So yeah, y'all. The Oscars, they are Sunday. Um, I'm excited. I am excited for the Oscars. Granted, there are more pressing things going on in our world right now, but I'm excited. I'm excited for the Oscars. So I'm gonna go through here real quick and just kind of talk about my picks and why I landed on these picks. I'm excited. Afternoon Tune, what's up? So I'm actually going to be on the Afternoon Tune this Sunday, reacting live to the Oscars and the winners and all that. So that will be this Sunday. The Oscars start at, I want to say it's 4 p.m. Or 7 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, I will be on live with bells on. That's a twitch.tv/afternoon tune. So go ahead and check us out there. So yeah, I'm excited to go ahead and be on there. At this point, I'm on the Afternoon Tune a decent amount. Nick, I'm still waiting for my free sandwich, motherfucker, but I'm excited. I'm excited to go ahead and link up with the AT crew and go ahead and talk to y'all on all the platforms. I am still waking up, so you're going to see me drinking my coffee as I, if you're watching this live. Oh, that's good stuff. So, all right. So before I get into my Oscar picks, I got to talk about something. And God damn it, people, can you just stop sucking? Can you stop being shitty? So basically what happened is if you are a wrestling fan, you know that the WWE 2K24 video game just came out. I think earlier release came out on Tuesday. If you got the deluxe edition, I believe today is the official drop for the game. So that came out today. And with the Vince McMahon allegations and everything, I will be the first to admit I'm really torn out on if I'm going to get it. I'll probably end up getting it on Black Friday when it's on a discount because typically WWE, they have a season pass where they go ahead and they have more, more wrestling attires, more wrestlers that they add to the game to go ahead and beef up the game. And, the roster as it is, it's over 200 wrestlers in the game. The roster is fucking massive. I mean, so I will give 2K all the props on that front. But one of the cover stars of the game, you have the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes as one of the cover star for the standard version of the game. And then you have the Legends of WrestleMania edition, which is like, the super deluxe edition that comes with the season pass. And then you have just the deluxe edition, and that edition has Rhea Ripley on it. Fine ass Rhea Ripley. And then of course Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE. Bianca Belair is a fucking amazing wrestler. If you don't know who Bianca Belair is, I think I have a picture of her here, but Bianca Belair is fucking amazing. She's been amazing. She's a multiple time world champion already. I'm a huge Bianca Belair fan. So all that to say, let me just share this real quick. So all that to say, there were some fans who came across who were just saying the most racist shit to her. I'm not even going to pull the tweets or comments up. If you want to search for the shit, trust me, they were racist ass comments. And this woman is 34 years old. She's already a multiple time world champion. She was a huge track star down in Tennessee. She's been put in the work. She's been one of the most consistent performers that WWE has had. And at this point, y'all, what do you want Black people to do? Honestly, what do you want Black people to do? It's so goddamn exhausting. And I'll just say, As a black dude, I look. We've I know that there's been a whole discourse about Barbie and did Margot get screwed and all that stuff. I get that's a discourse, but I will be the first to admit, y'all, I went through Twitter a little bit. Yeah, I'm calling it Twitter, not X, because I'm not a fucking moron. But I just sit there and I go, this is what Barbie's talking about. Women can't even fucking live without shit like this occurring. And to take it a step further, black people, I want to say it's Chris Rock who makes the joke that, being black is like having a second full-time job. And it's true. Being black is like having a second full-time job. And this woman, here's the thing. The racism, there's no excuse for it. Just out the box, there's no excuse for it. But if she was like, God, I'm trying to even, I can't even think of anyone, but if she was like shitty at her job, you could at least, like, if you're a very, very dumb racist, you could just be like, well, come on, she sucks. Again, doesn't excuse it, but at least you could go, well, she's bad. Bianca Belair is doing like front flips and cartwheels and lifting up. She lifted up this wrestler who's there, Otis, who's like 300 pounds, and carried his ass. Like, Bianca Belair is a fucking star, and she comes across like the sweetest person in the world. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 years ago at WrestleMania. She had the special entrance where she had these dancers, these little girl dancers from Compton, go ahead and like step with her and accompany her to the ring. And there's this contortionist kid who was kind of front and center. And her mom, this little contortionist kid, this kid could have been 6, maybe 7. I would say 6. But this little girl, her mom died that day, like hours before WrestleMania. And apparently Bianca Belair and her husband, Montez Ford, who that brother is special. Look up Montez Ford Frog Splash on Twitter or on YouTube. That young man is special. Holy shit. It's one of the best frog splashes I've ever seen. But they went ahead, apparently hung out with her and kept her company and were like just so supportive. And you hear these stories about Bianca Belair. No one has a bad thing to say about her. She apparently is incredibly humble, even though she's been pushed to the moon. She carries herself like a fucking star. And she's just fun. Like, go watch her match against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Watch her match against Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. Watch some of her work at NXT when she's still figuring it out. Like, she screamed star pretty much a month into her run. Like, she is a very special young woman. And I've actually watched a little bit of her and Montez Ford's reality show. And I gotta admit, they come across as such a fun couple. They give each other shit in that way that you kind of need to give your partner shit, but it comes across as, very loving and enduring. They're wonderful together, and to see Black love represented in such a positive way is so great. But you see Beyonce, and look, I'm not a big Beyonce fan. There's definitely some of her music that I like, but the fact you have people going, "Oh, Beyonce isn't making country music," where Snoop Dogg was making reggae, like. And people going that they're not going to play Beyonce's music. Why aren't you going to play Beyonce's music? It's country music, right? I'm sorry. Taylor Swift barely makes country music anymore. It's country pop at best, and no one has anything to say about that. So what's the difference between Taylor Swift and Beyonce? What's the main one? And it just goes back to what, unfortunately, is common knowledge, that it is so hard for Black artists to break through in country music. And it's been like that for fucking decades. And Beyonce, the biggest star, like, look, I know people want to go, like, Taylor Swift is the biggest star in music. It's Beyonce. It's still Beyonce. Because whenever Beyonce puts something out, fucking traffic stops. Like, Beyonce has that power in a way that even Taylor Swift doesn't. Beyonce is still the biggest thing in music. whether you like her or not. And again, I'm not a crazy fan of hers, but the fact that people aren't playing her music because they have these preconceived notions about what a country artist is, really says a lot about where we're at. And the fact that so many people, and let's call it what it is, we were, and I mean the collective we were very quick to go, oh, well, Obama got 2 terms. Racism is dead. No, it's not. And the fact that this is a country where Black people still have to drive on roads named after Confederate soldiers. We still have to see Confederate statues next to churches and next to banks. The fact that what was it? That one bank is not Navy Federal, but that one military based bank that went ahead and denied like over 50% of Black applicants just for being Black. Like, it's hard being Black. It's hard being a woman. So adding those 2 things together, holy shit. And I will say that even though Navy Federal, thanks AT. So if there's any positive to this, and y'all know, like, if you listen to the podcast or you follow the streams, I am an eternal optimist, even though Lord knows that shit is getting harder by the day. There was an outpouring of fucking love for Bianca Belair, which made my heart so happy. Shout out, by the way, to AEW and Ring of Honor star Athena, who is over a year as Ring of Honor World Champion. She shouted out Bianca Belair because Athena used to wrestle over in WWE. And that's another thing too, y'all. Like, the tribalism as a wrestling fan. Look, my big issue with WWE right now is Vince McMahon. And the fact that that motherfucker isn't behind bars. Because as far as I'm concerned, he fucking should be. And like, WWE very much is the Disney of pro wrestling. You know, they are the standard, whether you like them or not. WWE is the standard. And the more changes that occur in WWE, for the better, as far as getting out anyone who knew about what Vince was allegedly doing, getting those pieces of shit out of that company, that's better for the industry as a whole. That's going to make places, the industry safer for women, for people of color, for everyone. That's my big issue with WWE. But I will say, Bianca Belair has been an incredible ambassador for that brand. I don't know when her contract is up. They would be fools not to throw all the money at the world at her to keep her there. And they clearly know how invested, they clearly know what investment she is. Otherwise, they wouldn't give her and Montez Ford their own fucking show. But she's an incredible ambassador, and I was really happy to see the outpouring of love from her colleagues, in WWE, across the industry, people who don't even, work with her anymore. Bianca Belair is a special young woman, and, we love Bianca Belair. So I'm sorry she even had to deal with that shit. I'm sure it was disheartening to her and just heartbreaking, but I hope she saw, the tweets that I and millions of other fans sent out to her, just singing her praises, because she deserves the world. And I'm such a fan of hers. So I love you, Bianca. I'm sorry that there are lip dick idiots who are giving you this shit. Yeah, fuck them. And seriously, if you're one of those people, just you don't have to send everything you think. You know what I mean? Like, I know I have a bit of a reputation for just always speaking my mind, and I definitely do. But even I sometimes am just like, there's no point in me saying this. Like, there's no point in me saying this because there's no positive end game to this. So, but seriously, if you're one of those people who are saying that shit, go fuck yourself. You're a fucking idiot. And it's comments like that from wrestling fans that make me go, why do I watch this shit still? You know what I mean? Like, why am I still supporting this sport when there are so many shitty people who keep doing this? And I find it really funny that there are racists who will say this shit to Bianca Belair, but then will cheer on like the Eagles or the Chiefs or what have you, these teams that have black quarterbacks. Like I just the lack of connection on that is so fucking aggravating to me. Anyways, so before I get to my Oscar picks, I did want to shout out real quick. I because I've had people yelling at me about it. There we go. So I have a list of TV shows I'm trying to get through. The list is very long at this point. I don't even know what I'm going to watch next, but yeah, there's a lot of shows. There's a lot of fucking shows. But Abbott Elementary. I finally got caught up on Abbott Elementary. I don't even remember really what inspired it. I was just like, I could start watching this. So I started watching the show on Monday. I got caught up officially as of last night, so I'm on. I got caught up through season 3. My God, what a great fucking show! I won't get the spoilers here or a proper review, but there is a Halloween episode of Abbott Elementary that is truly one of my favorite Halloween episodes of a show ever. I think that season 2 is very comparable to The Office. But I think season 1 of Abbott Elementary is much better than season 1 of The Office. It felt like Quinta Brunson and company knew exactly where they wanted to go from season 1, like from jump. And season 2 just improves on Abbott Elementary in every way. I think season 2 is a funnier season than season 1, but Bradley, who's done some guest work on the podcast. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Bradley. He was saying that there's always a moment per episode that makes him go, Jesus. Like it's something that hits so close to home, or it's something that just kind of makes you stop and think on what they said. And he is 1,000% right. There are multiple moments, like there's at least a moment each episode where I'd have to pause it and go, wow. And I mean that as a compliment. I love that show, and I'm so excited to see where season 3 continues to go. Obviously, the writer's strike delayed everything, so I'm assuming Abbott will probably be back, late April. I would assume probably, but that's exactly Bradley. Bradley knows exactly what it's like to be a black youth in Philly, but I love Abbott Elementary. It's such a great show, and I'm so happy that that's getting all the awards. Like I get it now. I won't say actually, yeah, that's getting the spoilers, so I won't go there. But I will just say I just adore the show. I think the show is so special, and Lisa and Walter, I will have things to say about you, but I adore the show. So if you have not checked out Abbott Elementary, you can check out the first 2 seasons on HBO Max, and then you can you can catch up on the whole series through season 3, episode 5 on Hulu. So definitely check it out if you haven't yet. It's wonderful, and I will be reviewing the first 2 seasons here in the next couple weeks. But yeah, shout out to everyone at Abbott Elementary. I absolutely adore the show. So, all right. So moving on, I'm going to go through my Oscar picks real quick, and I'm going to get out of here. So as I mentioned, the Oscars are this Sunday. They are being hosted by Jimmy Kimmel for some fucking reason. It's funny. Jimmy Kimmel, he's actually the late night host I like the most, whose name is Jimmy. I can't stand Jimmy Fallon. Like, oh my God, it's so great. Like I fucking can't stand Jimmy Fallon. The Roots cover a lot of his sins because the Roots are one of the best bands in music. But goddamn, Jimmy Fallon just always comes across like, what Jimmy Fallon's like? He comes across like he's trying to sell you candy door to door. That's what Jimmy Fallon always comes across like to me. And I cannot stand Jimmy Fallon. But with that said, Jimmy Kimmel, this is his 4th fucking time hosting the Oscars. And I know that the Oscars are on ABC, and his show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, is on ABC. So, from a logistical standpoint, I get why he's hosting. But if you're trying to get people excited about the Oscars, like, can we switch this shit up? Like, I'm sorry, was fucking Gerard Carmichael not available? And I know some people will go, oh, his Golden Globe sucked. It really didn't. His monologue was thought-provoking. It called out Hollywood in a way that Hollywood has been needed to be called out. And the brother just naturally so fucking charismatic. Like, he's great. I know we do not need Cardi B hosting the Oscars. I think Taylor Tomlinson would also be a great choice. Oh gosh, who else? Oh yeah, remember when Andy Samberg and Sandra Oh, when they did the Golden Globes? That was fucking fun. And yes, he is amazing in Poor Things. If you have not seen, I actually just showed my partner Poor Things yesterday. I'll get to Poor Things here in a few minutes as we get into Oscar talk. But yeah, like Gerard Carmichael would be a great choice. Taylor Tomlinson, shout out to the reboot for After Midnight, which has been great. She's been excellent hosting that. She would be a great choice. If you're not listening to it, just because I discovered the podcast like a month ago, and I've been loving it, Daniel Tosh would be a great host for the Oscars. As much of a fuck as Daniel Tosh doesn't give, he would be an amazing Oscar host. I would love for him to host it. Fuck Quinta Brunson, have her host it. Jesus Christ, like, she's on Abbott Elementary. That's on ABC. Have her host it. She would be great. Yeah, fucking oh god, I'm trying to think of other people. James Marsden would actually be a really great Oscar host. Yeah, he would be great. Have fucking Rachel Sennott and Io Edebri from Bottoms, have them host it. Like, there's so many better options than just going with Kimmel again. It comes across, fuck, let me host the Oscars. I would be a great Oscar host because I would not give a fuck. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. That would work too. Yeah, goddamn. There's so Seth Meyers would actually be a really Seth Meyers hasn't hosted the Oscars, I don't think. Yeah, he would actually be a really great Oscar host. I know Jon Stewart hosted it one year. And I know he said he wasn't crazy about ever doing it again, but he would be a great Oscar host. Yeah, there's other people besides Jimmy Kimmel, and it comes across as lazy. Why? Why? Fuck, have Graham Norton host the Oscars. He would never do it, but have Graham Norton do it. He'd be great. But again, I am throwing my hat in. 2025 Oscars. Let me host. Come on, Academy. What do you got to lose? I'll do it for $200K. There you go. See, that's a bargain. Yeah, but you gotta put me in a good hotel. I don't want you put me in like a Motel 6. You put my ass on a good hotel. Yeah, like, here's the thing. I still like some Chappelle stand-up. I don't want Chappelle hosting, because I'm sure Chappelle would just go on like some trans rant. I definitely don't want Shane Gillis. No, Joe Rogan. Yeah, those are all bad choices. Eddie Murphy, that's kind of intriguing. Eddie Murphy is kind of intriguing. I think who would actually be a really good host is Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston would be a really great choice, considering he can sing and dance. And yeah, Tom Hiddleston would be a really great choice. Sterling K. Brown would be a great Oscar host. Let him do it. As charismatic as that brother is, let Sterling K. Brown host. Yeah, there's so many other hosts. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan would be a great team hosting the Oscars. I know Sebastian Stan has, his anxiety issues, but those two together are just comedy gold. So yeah, I just named off like 14 people who could host the Oscars better. But yeah, anyways, moving on. So Starting with the original screenplay, the nominees are Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, and Past Lives. Now, let me just say, Past Lives, I think, got the shaft this year. While it didn't crack my top 10 films, Past Lives is incredibly well written, incredibly well acted, and I don't get why. Actually, never mind. I get why it didn't get more love, but it's an incredibly well done film. The Holdovers is my shit. That was my number 4 favorite film of last year, maybe number 3. I can't recall. And then Anatomy of a Fall was in my top 10 as well. I fucking love both those movies. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Anatomy of a Fall. That's what I have picked, and I'm trusting my gut. I think this is a movie that's gained a lot more momentum in the last month, and I think that the Academy kind of wants to award it where it can. I'll get to why I don't think The Holdovers is going to win here in just a bit, but I think Anatomy of a Fall is going to get that there. Yeah, the court. There's a courtroom scene involving cross-examination that is one of the most tense scenes I've seen in the film, that I saw in the film all last year. I fucking love Anatomy of a Fall. If you've not seen it, it is on digital. Well worth your time. It's so well worth your time. Yeah, I love that fucking movie. I love all 5 of these movies. I think I mentioned May December. That's another movie I don't understand that's not getting more love. Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman both crushed that movie. And that movie, that's a very hard watch. And that's a very hard conversation post-film that you need to have of yourself, as far as like where we're at as a society and what it says about grooming and how, we treat people. It immediately made me think of Aaron Taylor Johnson and his wife. I was just like, oh, that's where my brain went to, and I know it's kind of become like, ha ha ha, kind of a joke about, Leo and him dating these women who are in their early 20s. Like, it's crazy. That's just kind of, I don't even want to say accepted, but kind of like people just kind of, it's like the mice in Babe. It's like, that's just the way things are. It's so weird that Leo gets to keep doing that. And I understand, I understand, these kids, these women are over 18, but like, what do you have in common with a 22-year-old? Like, you can't date someone 30? Like it's that's still one of that's still one of the things that makes me laugh the most about Don't Look Up. The fact that Leo ends up hooking up with Kate Blanchett in that movie. Like, that's the oldest Leo's ever gone. And and Kate Blanchett's a fucking fox and is one of the most talented people in the game right now. But I don't get why Leo keeps doing it. But I'm not his shrink. So what are you gonna do? But moving on to adapted screenplay. So we've got American Fiction. We've got American Fiction. We've got Barbie. We've got Oppenheimer. We've got Poor Things and Zone of Interest. So because I think a lot of people are just thinking, oh yeah, Oppenheimer's got this. I don't think so. I think American Fiction's going to get this. Again, I think American Fiction is one of those films like Anatomy of a Fall that's been getting more momentum over the last month. I'll get to more American Fiction here in a bit, but yeah, I think American Fiction's going to get that. It's going to take that one. If it's non-American Fiction, I know, again, a lot of people would go Barbie or Oppenheimer. If it's non-American Fiction, I think it's going to be Poor Things. I think that's the second most likely winner. But yeah, I'm going to go American Fiction on that one. Moving on to visual effects, we've got The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 1, and Napoleon. Godzilla -1, just get that out of the way. Godzilla has never looked more terrifying. Anytime Godzilla showed up, I was like, y'all people need to fucking run. I I love Godzilla minus one. It was my favorite film last year. I can't wait for it to come out on digital in 4K. I will be buying a 4K of that. If there's a special edition where I don't even care what's in the special edition. If there's a special edition of Godzilla minus one, I'm buying that shit. I fucking love Godzilla minus one. So yeah, Godzilla minus one is winning that. Moving on to sound. The creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, and The Zone of Interest. Maestro. Maestro is winning because it's about a composer. That's why it's winning. And that's the award that you can justify the most for Maestro. So yeah, Maestro is winning sound. Live action short film, we've got The After, Invincible, Night of Fortune, Red, White, and Blue, and The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch, and considering the pedigree behind it, yeah, it's The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. That's a layup right there. Animated short film, we've got Letter to a Pig, 95 Senses, Our Uniform, War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. And then I'm going to butcher the saying on this one. Pachyderm? Sure, we'll go with that. Just because it's Yoko Ono's music, I in no way want that one to win. So I'm going Letter to a Pig. I think that'll be what wins there. All right, moving on to production design. So this one's actually kind of difficult because I thought the production design on Napoleon and Poor Things, like Poor Things, I think it's one of the most beautiful looking films I've seen in the last decade. I think Poor Things is fucking gorgeous, but I think the first thing that most people I talked to about Barbie noticed was I was hearing some variation of this term of, oh my God, it looks like Barbie World. I think that's why right there, production design, it's going to be a win for Barbie. And I wouldn't be mad at that. The only reason I would say Poor Things over Barbie and myself is because I love the aesthetic of Poor Things. I think it looked very much like a pop-up book come to life. I know you can say the same thing about Barbie, but I really like the gothic over and undertones that Poor Things gave. I love the changes of scenery. I think I would have liked Barbie a little more from the production / aesthetic side if it was all taking place in Barbie World. But it's kind of like when, it's kind of like a superhero movie when it's space-based and then they come to Earth. It's like, it's like, no, I live on Earth. Give me more space. So I would like Poor Things to win, but I think Barbie's going to win. All right. So I'm going based off the Oscar ballot order. So that's why I'm kind of bouncing all over the place. So Best Picture. Okay. So this one is actually difficult because I think there's a much bigger chance that people want to acknowledge that American Fiction takes this shit. I think it would be an upset, but I think that American Fiction, I think there's a much bigger chance of that winning than there was a month ago. I think American Fiction could shock people and win this year. I truly believe that. With that said, yeah, it's going to be Oppenheimer. And let me be clear. Oppenheimer didn't even crack my top 20 for films this year. I think it's a very well-made film. I think it's a very good film. But the fact that Godzilla -1 says more about war than a film about the guy who helped build the fucking atom bomb drives me fucking nuts. And I think it's a flaw in the movie that people just gloss over. And I think it's very dumb that people gloss over that fact. But it's going to be Oppenheimer. Like it's been set up all awards season. It's been winning all awards season. Now, look, with that said, and I have to keep bringing this up because people tend to forget, Coda really wasn't winning shit until like the bottom of the ninth. And then there was a surge and then it kind of started winning all over the place. So there is a world where, again, where American Fiction wins. There's a world where Poor Things wins. There's a world that Holdovers wins. I think those are all very much in play, but I think Oppenheimer's got it, though. I think Nolan will finally get the validation that he so desperately seeks, because let's call it what it is. Nolan is, I don't want to say Steve Carell-ish, but he's kind of Steve Carell-ish. Like y'all remember how Steve Carell was really just like, there is nothing that could be said about Steve Carell. Like, he wanted that Oscar so goddamn bad. And to be honest, you could argue for Foxcatcher he should have won. Will Smith was the same way. You know, Will Smith was obsessed with getting that Oscar. And, you know, I know he won it, but he still has Andrew Garfield's Oscar. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. King Richard fucking sucks dick. I fucking hate that movie. But I think Oppenheimer's got it. So, you know, bleh. But let me just be clear. I'm gonna just play a quick game here. So I like the American Fiction better than Oppenheimer. I like the Anatomy of a Fall better than Oppenheimer. I like Barbie about the same. I think Barbie does fall apart in the third act on its message. So I'd say that's kind of a wash. I love the Holdovers, so I like that better than Oppenheimer. I like Killers of the Flower Moon better than Oppenheimer, and that's a half hour fucking longer. And while I have kind of some of the same issues with Killers that I do with Oppenheimer, that last half hour of Killers of the Flower Moon is fucking amazeballs. And that actually did crack my top 20 films. So yeah, I like Killers of Flower Moon better. I do not like Maestro more than Oppenheimer. I think Maestro is a very incomplete film. It's a very good film, but not a great film. I've seen some people have Maestro in like their top 5, and how do you have that in your top 5? I like Past Lives. I'd have to watch Past Lives again. I really like Past Lives. I don't know if I like it more than Oppenheimer. I love Poor Things. I love Poor Things. It's definitely better than Oppenheimer. And in Zone of Interest, Zone of Interest, I need to try to watch that again. I've tried to watch it a couple times, and I cannot get into it yet. So I'm gonna try that watching that again this weekend. Nice. Shout out to Afternoon Tune. They're watching the Bianca Belair Becky Lynch match. Yeah, that's a great fucking match. Okay. So original song would be from is the following choices: the Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot, which that's actually a pretty good song. I'm Just Kin, Sing by the Ling, Ryan Gosling. It Never Went Away from American Symphony. A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon, and then What Was I Made For from Barbie. What Was I Made For? It's gonna win. It would be really funny if I'm Just Kin won, just because I know women would freak out about it, and I would just laugh. I just kind of want to see the world burn a little bit in that way. But What Was I Made For is gonna win, and it's a really well done song. I'm a fan of Billie Eilish, so that's gonna win, and it'll be cool to see the performances of the songs throughout the night. But yeah, What Was I Made For is gonna win. All right, moving on to original score. American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. So let me just say this. I love John Williams. The man, you could argue, is the GOAT. He is one of the best to ever do it. I cannot believe he's getting an Oscar nomination. He does not deserve an Oscar nomination for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That's one of the last fucking movies that should be nominated for anything. How this isn't Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse right here? How this isn't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem in this spot? How it's not the Holdovers in this spot? The score for the Holdovers is way better than the score. How this isn't Godzilla -1? Like, there's so many other films that deserve that slot than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I love Poor Things' weird score because it's a very weird score. But it's Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's got this one, so that'll go ahead and win there. And I'm not even mad at that. I actually like the score quite a bit for Oppenheimer, so I don't mind that one there. But Oppenheimer's going to win. All right, moving on to makeup and hairstyling. We've got Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. Poor Things. Poor Things should win. The makeup, the styling, the just the aesthetics. Yeah, it should be Poor Things. Poor Things should win. So, all right. Moving on to international feature film. Is that Io Capitano, Perfect Days, Society of the Snow, The Teacher's Lounge, and The Zone of Interest. Zone of Interest. It's been making a lot of noise, like I said, over the last month. It's winning. So yeah, very simple. Very easy, but that's gonna win. Film editing. Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, or Poor Things. I think it'll be Poor Things. Yeah, I think Poor Things is going to take that one there. Documentary short film, The ABCs of Book Banning, The Barber of Little Rock, Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop, or Nani Nani and Nai Nai and Weipo. I probably butchered that. Sorry. Last Repair Shop. I've been seeing ads for that everywhere. That's gonna win. That'll be the one. Documentary feature film: 20 Days in Madripoor, To Kill a Tiger, Four Daughters, The Eternal Memory, or Bobby Wine, The People's President. I'm gonna say To Kill a Tiger is gonna get that one there. All right, and then let me see here. Onto directing. So this is where I think some people are going to be. This is where I think we're going to see an upset, because everyone is pretty much going, "Oh yeah, Nolan's got this." I think it's going to go to Anatomy of a Fall. I just have this feeling that they're going to want to award this movie with one big award, one of the major awards, and I think Anatomy of a Fall is going to get it. Again, it's my gut. I just have this feeling that Anatomy of a Fall is gonna get some love here. So if Oppenheimer wins, if Nolan wins, I will in no way be surprised. But I don't know. I just have this feeling that Anatomy of a Fall is gonna pull an upset there. But yeah, all the nominees: Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Zone of Interest. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Zone of Interest won, but I don't know. Anatomy of a Fall, I just have this feeling. I can't even really explain it, but I just have this feeling that that's going to pull an upset there. On the costume design, let's just make this easy. Barbie's going to win. Like, I will say for myself, I think Poor Things should win, just off of Gerard Carmichael's. Go back and watch Poor Things. It's on Hulu right now, by the way. Go back and watch Poor Things and look at all of Bella, Emma Stone's outfits. Look at Gerard Carmichael's outfits in there. His wardrobe is fucking immaculate in that movie. I need everything that he's wearing in that fucking movie. Oh my god, his shit's amazing in there. But yeah, Barbie's gonna win. So yeah. All right, moving on to cinematography. Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, El Conde, or Maestro. So here's another one where I think a lot of people are going to go, oh yeah, Oppenheimer. Outside of the bomb sequence, which I understand the bomb sequence was very well done, but I think Poor Things, from a cinematography perspective, I think it's the best looking film I saw last year that didn't have Godzilla in it. I think it's fucking gorgeous. And the only reason I'm saying Maestro here is because I believe that the Academy will probably lean into look at how well all the conducting stuff is done, and the transitions between black and white, and the transitions between scenes. I think a lot is going to be put on that. So I think that the film is going to get a lot of love because of that. So I don't know. That's where I'm leaning. I've been kind of going back and forth on that, but I think Maestro is going to kind of surprise and win there. So, all right, on the animated feature film, The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So, okay, rant time. look, I know some of y'all, because I've gotten comments on this before, there are like, wow, Hunter's on the Disney payroll. And let me just be clear, if I was on the Disney payroll, I would have bidets. I would have 2 bidets in our house. I'd have something made of gold. I trust me, if I was on the Disney payroll, I'd have a lot more shit in the house that my partner and I have. I am not on the Disney payroll, and it pisses me off royally. Let me say that again. It pisses me off royally. One more time. It pisses me off royally that Elemental got a nomination for Best Animated Feature Film when fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is one of the best animated films in the last 5 years, and it got nothing. It is aggravating. It is bullshit. If you do a simple Google search on people who did vote for these nominations, there are people who flat out said, like, oh, it's Disney and animated film, so I just voted for it. It's like, here's the thing. I do a lot of work for my best 7 worst of lists each year. That's why my list typically takes until fucking like first week of February, because I'm still going through screeners, which the studio send me, which I'm very blessed to get. I'm still going through screeners. I'm talking to my friends and getting stuff that they really love that maybe might be a blind spot. It takes a while. It's a lot of work. And yet it feels like I'm doing a lot more work than the people on the fucking Hollywood Foreign Press are doing. So do work. It's your fucking job. Anyways, with that said, Robot Dreams. I know a lot of y'all haven't seen that because it's not streaming anywhere or anything yet. But holy shit, Poor Things is one of the best animated films I've seen, not just in the last decade, in the last 15 years. I absolutely love Robot Dreams. It's a movie that I think is transcendent. It's a movie that you can really show your kids. The fact that there's no dialogue in it, it's as engaging as it is a feat onto itself. Y'all need to watch Robot Dreams the moment you can. So in my heart, I'm pulling for Robot Dreams. If Robot Dreams won, I'd be so happy. The Boy and the Heron. Oh my God. That's a movie that if you haven't seen it, please watch The Boy and the Heron. It's a trippy ass movie, but oh my God, it's so fucking well done. But it's going to be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and I love Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So when it wins, I will be doing a metaphorical cartwheel. But yeah, it's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse all day. I can't wait for part 2, by the way. All right, moving on to actress and supporting role. We've got Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Ned, and then Davine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. So, again, rant time. It is bullshit that Emily Blunt got a nomination for Oppenheimer. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I know that people go, well, she has an incredible scene in the during the whole courtroom shit near the end of the movie. And my retort would be, yeah, and Julianne Moore is terrifying throughout all of May, December. She should have gotten a nomination. Erica Alexander is fucking incredible in American Fiction. She should have gotten a nomination. The biggest snub for me is Rachel McAdams for Are You There, God? To Me, Margaret. How she's not in the spot is fucking goddamn ridiculous, considering how great she was in that movie. So straight up, off that alone, I don't want Emily Blunt to win. I won't lie. It's Davine Joy Randolph's award to lose, by the way. And when she wins, I'm going to be so happy for her because she's incredible in The Holdovers. And look, I'm a big fan of the Oscars actually being used to elevate people who might be, here and to take them to that next level. And that will do that for her. She's incredible in that movie. She deserves all the love that she's been getting this award cycle. So yeah, Davine Joy Randolph, she's going to win. And I'm going to be very happy when she does. We really should have had 2 Black women in a row winning Best Supporting Actress, but I will not go off on that rant. Okay. So, a couple more awards. Actress in a leading role. We've got Annette Bening for Nied. We've got Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. We've got Sandra Huller from Anatomy of a Fall. We've got Carey Mulligan for Maestro. And we've got Emma Stone for Poor Things. So, okay. Here's where I'm very torn. I think Poor Things is the performance of Emma Stone's career. I think it's the wrong year for her to have had that performance. This is Lily Gladstone's award to lose. I feel bad. I feel bad from the perspective of I really like Lily Gladstone a lot, and I love what she brings to the table in Killers of the Flower Moon. I hate the perspective in which the film is told. I think by telling it from Leonardo DiCaprio's character's point of view, I think you lose a lot of Molly's story because she's being more reactionary. And I hate stories like that being told through a white lens. I think it really should be told from the people who are going through the shit, from the minority characters, from the people of color's point of view. It's the same thing that one of the main things that pisses me off about The Help. I really hate that. There are exceptions because, Green Book is very much not told from Mahershala Ali's character's perspective, but he's just so fucking great in that I think they're able to overcome that. But goddamn, Lily Gladstone is great in it, and she deserves all the praise she's been getting. Like I said, I do think Emma Stone is better in Poor Things. Honestly, I'd probably say I like Sandra Huller more in Anatomy of a Fall. Anatomy of a Fall, like I said, that's one of those movies I think that people are going to look back on like a year from now and go, man, we should have given that more credit. Like I love Anatomy of a Fall, but it's going to be Lily Gladstone's award. So yeah, but I'm not mad at that. Okay, and then two more words and I'm out of here. Actor in a supporting role. We've got Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. So this is probably the most stacked category outside of Best Picture. Because you can make a case for all these guys. Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things is incredible. The amount of daddy tweets that I was seeing about Mark Ruffalo after Poor Things was really fucking funny. Mark Ruffalo is in his bag in that movie. He is amazing in that film. Ryan Gosling, we all know how great he is as Ken in Barbie. And I'm Just Ken just being a fucking revelation song. Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, that's probably his best performance in 20 years. I would say since Silver Linings. He's incredible in that movie. Sterling K. Brown is great in American Fiction. I don't want to spoil anything, but he has some of the funniest lines all year. And then Rob Downey Jr., like, he's incredible in Oppenheimer. Like, I get it. Like, I get people going, it's Rob Downey Jr. I get it. I really do. And he's my pick to win. However, I think there's a chance any of these people could win. Like, that's what makes this category in particular for me so fascinating. I'm really excited to see who wins this one. I think it's going to be Rob Downey Jr., but as I'm sitting here, I am kind of going, it could be Sterling K. Brown. It could be Gosling. Like, there is a world where the Academy goes, well, he's been winning everywhere else, but he's not winning here. Like, I don't know. It's really interesting. I think he should have won. I really think he should have won back in, what have that been, like 08, 09 for Tropic Thunder. I thought he was fucking amazing as Kirk Lazarus. And this is obviously a way different performance. But Robert Downey Jr., though, that gear he checks into just near the end of Oppenheimer is some dark shit. I love Robert Downey Jr. throughout Oppenheimer. So again, wouldn't be mad if he won, but man, if Sterling K. Brown were to pull the upset, that would make me very happy, because again, I do think American Fiction deserves more love. But yeah, I think I've got De Niro picked. Downey Jr. picked, but that's a very hard category. That category feels almost prime for an upset. And then actor in the leading role, we've got Bradley Cooper for Maestro, we've got Coleman Domingo for Rustin, we've got Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, we've got Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, and we've got Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. Okay, here's where I think we're going to see an upset, because I know a lot of people are just going, "Oh yeah, Cillian Murphy, it's a lock." I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that there's a very high chance that Jeffrey Wright, because I think Jeffrey Wright's definitely been getting some more, positive word of mouth, and I think he's really been kind of getting a little momentum. I think American Fiction overall has been gaining a little momentum, so I could see Jeffrey Wright winning. With that said, I think Paul Giamatti is that dude. I think The Holdovers has very slowly crept up and gotten more praise. And I do think that Paul Giamatti is going to pull an upset here. Look, I'm a big fan of Cillian Murphy, and I'm happy he's finally getting his flowers, which he really should have been getting all along. Like the motherfucker's been great in so much stuff, whether it's 28 Days Later, whether it's Inception, whether it's A Quiet Place Part 2. He's great in A Quiet Place Part 2. Whether it's Red Eye. I remember seeing Red Eye after I graduated. Red Eye is great. He's been a great actor, and I really am happy that people are finally starting to put some respect on his name. I just have this feeling. Giamatti's got it. Again, if Cillian Murphy wins, I won't be mad at that, because I'm just a fan of his. But I do think that Paul Giamatti is going to surprise some people and pull off the upset here. So yeah, y'all, those are my Oscar picks. I did just look it up here. Yeah, the Oscars are this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'll probably be watching the pre-show as people arrive, because I'd like to see what everyone's wearing. I'm a fashion nerd like that. But yeah, I'm excited to watch the Oscars. I'm excited to see what dumb things the Academy does that makes me go, why do I watch this each year? I'm excited that because there will be one award where we all go, like, where a lot of us go, fuck. So I know it's coming, but yeah. So as far as what I've got coming up, as far as streaming, I won't be streaming next week because I start my new job. Hooray. So I'm going to be in training for the next couple of weeks. So streaming will be spotty, but I will have reviews and stuff going up. So next week, starting on Monday, I will have reviews for all most of. I think I might miss one, but I'm gonna have reviews for most of the Best Picture nominees. So Monday will be Oppenheimer, Tuesday will be Barbie, and then from there I'll have more reviews. I will be reviewing Abbott Elementary over seasons 1 and 2 over the next couple weeks, so look out for reviews for that. And then, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of what else. But I will be back streaming before the end of the month. But go ahead and just subscribe to me and the show on YouTube at The Real Pineapple. That's REEL Pineapple. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Real Pineapple. You can find me on Instagram at jhunter Real Pineapple. Also on TikTok at jhunter Real Pineapple. And you can subscribe to The Real Pineapple wherever you listen to podcasts: SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts, to name a few, at The Real Pineapple. And then right now, actually, you can check out my my interview with Jennifer Levinson, who's this amazing, gorgeous, talented actress and writer who just did this film Trust that I went ahead and reviewed. That review's up on the channel now. And I went ahead and interviewed her friend, colleague, and director of said film, Almog Avidan Antonier. it was a great interview. We talked for over an hour about the industry and how this film came together, what other stuff they have come down the pipeline. So please check that interview out. That's live now. And you can check out Trust wherever you rent or buy videos. You can check it out on a Prime Video. I think it's like $5 to rent. Go rent that shit. It's awesome. And my review, as I just mentioned, of Trust is up on the channel now. But everyone, thank you so much for listening, y'all. Enjoy the Oscars. Enjoy the Oscars this Sunday. For those of you who have been laid off or going through anything, please know that it will get better. Please reach out to someone if you need to talk. I know the world is very heavy right now. I know that it's a lot. I know, Josh, I don't have an OnlyFans, you weirdo. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your support. Stay safe out there. Take care of each other. And I will talk to y'all soon.